Hi, everyone. This is a recorded lesson to help you identify the 4 different types of evidence that you will be using in your essay. So now that we are ready to choose topics and you'll work in groups, you're going to be looking at 2 articles about your topic, and you will work in your groups to pull out evidence that will support the claim that you will write. So this is the article that we looked at together in our Zoom class. And this is the article about the trash that has accumulated on a very distant and remote island. So let's look at the 4 different types of evidence that we're going to be focusing on. The first type is facts, and the facts are things that you can prove that are true, that you can't disagree with. And for these purposes, we're going to underline the facts. And remember, an opinion is something that it's something that you think about, that you have an idea about that somebody may disagree with. A fact is something that's true and nobody can disagree with it. So the next type of evidence is statistics. Statistics are actually are facts also. They are a particular type of fact in that they are facts that have numbers. And as we go through this article, we're going to highlight examples of statistics in yellow. Anecdotes are similar to POVs and experiences. Anecdote is just another word for story. In this case, you're probably going to be looking for stories or anecdotes from other people, from experts. And then finally, quotes are a form of evidence as well. And quotes are simply the words, the exact words that somebody has said. In this case, you're most likely going to be looking for quotes from experts because you want to use information and words from experts on the particular subject you're researching. So let's get started. I'm going to read through this, and as we read through it, we're going to identify and highlight or underline important pieces of evidence that we might be able to use in an essay. In 2015, researchers traveled to Henderson Island. It's a tiny island. It's also remote. It's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They found about 38 million pieces of trash on the beach. All right, this is a fact, but it also has a number in it. So it's a statistic, and we're going to highlight this, and we're going to highlight it in yellow. They wrote a report about their findings. The report came out in 2017. It said that most of the trash was made of plastic. It included things like toy soldiers, combs, hard hats, and more. And I'm going to highlight this part as a fact that I might want to use in an essay. And we have to imagine at this point that I'm writing an essay about the problems of plastic in the ocean. All right, I'm going to highlight this or put this in underline. The researchers say that the density of trash was the highest recorded anywhere in the world. That's also an important fact for me. It's significant. So I'm going to highlight this, or not highlight it, but I'm going to underline it. The trash on Henderson Island may seem unlikely. After all, nobody lives there. It's also far from other land, and it's about halfway between New Zealand and Chile. So where did all the trash come from? The island is at the edge of the South Pacific Gyre. Ocean gyres are places where water spins in a circle. They often catch and hold floating trash. A large amount of the Henderson Island trash is from the South Pacific Gyre. The trash there weighed about 17.6 tons. All right, that is a fact, and that's a fact with a number, so that's a statistic. So we're going to highlight that again in yellow. Jennifer Lavers is a researcher. She traveled to the island. Lavers said she noticed green toy soldiers among the trash. They were like those her brother played with as a child. There were red motel pieces from the Monopoly board game. Lavers said she sometimes found herself amazed by the colors of the plastic. Then the sadness of it would sink in. Okay, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to consider this an anecdote. This is something that this researcher has experienced. It's a story, her story, personal story. And so I'm going to highlight this in green. All right, and then finally, plastic waste that enters the marine environment is a worldwide problem. Researchers want people to recycle and reuse plastic items. This would help. Less plastic would get into oceans. These are important points, and I am going to underline them. We need to rethink our relationship with plastic, Lavers said. It's often only used for a few moments and then tossed away. This is an excellent example of a quote. So we're going to highlight this in blue. All right, so now I have my article. I've read through it. I've identified several important pieces of evidence that I might want to use in my essay. So usually what the writer would do is in your notebook, you're going to have a worksheet where you're going to collect different types of evidence from the two articles that you're going to read. So you would take this information and you would copy it into your notebook, organize it in the section called evidence, and then later you'll use it when you're writing the body of your paragraph. Maybe you will use all of these points, maybe you won't. But at the moment we're collecting and we'll see what we use when we begin to write.